The following is a presentation of Muddy River Sports.
Well, we are celebrating the Adams County Bicentennial on this episode of Schuck on a Truck, brought to you by Shottenkirk Toyota. I'm Muddy River Sports editor Matt Schuckman, hanging out on the tailgate in Camp Point, Illinois, with this guy, Camp Point Central football coach Brad Dixon. What's up, buddy?
Tell you what, it's July and we're about a month out from the football season, so life is good. It's finally about time to put it out there after a long off season of trying to figure stuff out. So yeah, it's an exciting time.
I know you guys are busy doing things. I know you had some summer camp going on today, so I appreciate you taking time to do this.
Hey, yeah, no problem.
And go down memory lane a little bit. So
yeah,
we're going to talk about the 2023 football season. You guys did a little something special that season, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, it was, so, going back to 2022, obviously we were undefeated until going against Lena, and we gave them everything we wanted in the first half, but they were better than us, and I wouldn't say we were ever really in the game. We never really moved the ball that much.
Right.
But we had a lot of guys back. We only had, I think, 9 seniors that year, so coming into the off season and just into that year, it was like there was just this different feel. The guys were very focused, and you could tell that they wanted to get back, and they wanted to do it in a way that was pretty dang special. And the wild thing was is some years, you feel like you played down to your competition sometimes. Like every game that we were supposed to win and win big, I mean, we were up by 40 at half, and we just and the run we went on in the playoffs. You can't even really even write a book about it. If it was in a book, you say that never happened like that.
But we did put a book together.
We did.
So it's there for eternity. And what we're talking about is the 2023 football season, where all 4 Adams County schools made the playoffs. One of the greatest moments in the Bicentennial. It was fun kind of digging through, trying to figure out what are the top moments. And I didn't want to single out like a single state championship, but those are very important. But when you put your state championship with the 3 other teams making the playoffs in Quincy High School's first undefeated season since 1935, made for a very special moment for all of Adams County, football related.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously following those schools and having relationships with all those coaches,
right.
Unity being in our conference, and Coach Little and Coach Cornell, we've done different things. I mean, head Coach Cornell let us practice at their field last year.
Right.
We've had a good relationship. During COVID, Coach Cornell and I went over to Missouri and watched a couple games together when we couldn't play in Illinois. So, yeah, it's fun. We obviously always root for local teams. And then just to bring home the first ever state championship in any sport in Central history, a great history of lots of different sports was pretty special. And to do it in shutout fashion against probably the best small school program in the state of Illinois, and Lena Winslow made it even that much better.
I know you have to focus on the moment, and you're getting ready for this year's upcoming season and working with this group of guys. Do you ever, though, take a moment every now and then and look back, or if you're walking the halls and see the trophy in the trophy case, take a moment and celebrate it?
Honestly, I've a lot of times if I'm doing stuff on the treadmill, or this weekend I was in my garage cleaning stuff out, I'll put on either Jack's broadcast or even the IHSA and just have it play in the background, because you want to remember that feeling. We're always, when I was early in my career, I remember I went to the first semifinal in 2012, and I was like, I don't even remember it. I was so focused on the next game, and I don't even feel like I enjoyed it. So when we went back in 2014, I tried to enjoy it more in 18. And so every year I've done this, I've tried to step back and enjoy it, because if you never enjoy those special moments, then it's like, why am I doing this? And so we try to do that with coaches and players and whatever. So I do go back to, my son walked in the garage, and it was us versus Greenfield. The quarterfinal game when we were down 12-0 was playing in the background this weekend. So yeah, I put that stuff on a lot and remember plays and different things that happen and great plays. And obviously I want to keep that stuff fresh, and we try to bring those moments up to our kids, especially the moments of adversity where we rose above and beyond. Right. So yeah, I honestly, I do. And I do that. Sometimes I listen to podcasts and stuff. Other times I put on old games like that. Good and bad, obviously. And see the things that, you go back and watch the Althoff game from last year and look at the things that we didn't do well. Obviously they were really good, but I think it's good to look back to then be able to go ahead and go forward.
Is there any moment that, as you look back on that 2023 season, is there any moment that stands out to you that sticks in your memory maybe more than any other?
I mean, the first time we wore the Army National Guard uniforms in that year, we played Triopia. Noah Strokridge was here as a former player in the National Guard, and we played Triopia. And obviously we were undefeated at that point. And we hit them so hard on that night that I just felt like, oh, this team is different. I mean, we flew around. I think they had negative yardage. And there was a play on our sideline where they ran a sweep, and we had 3 guys just make one of the loudest, most destructive plays. And it's just like, and they were having so much fun and flying around, and it was like, holy smoke. I mean, I get goosebumps thinking about it. That, you know, not that we hadn't had other moments at that point, but then we just keep moving. We go down to Carrollton and play lights out, and it's 40-0 at halftime. And you know, I think at the time they were 5-0 and had just lost to Calhoun, so they were 5-1. And I remember Coach Leonard, Ken Leonard comes over, you know, because he had done a few things with Carrollton, and he is like, you know what, you guys remind me a lot of my team. It was their team the year before that won the state title, how you fly around. And, you know, there's just those couple weeks in a row where I really felt like this team was different, the way that they loved to hit and they loved to run. And you know, then we just kept proving it every week and every week and every week. And for us as coaches, we were trying to take more and more practice away from them to keep them fresh, because, I mean, they were playing lights out, and we didn't want to grind them into the ground. So it was trying to find that happy medium to keep them healthy, but also keep them hungry and fresh. And so it was fun. And then obviously, you know, once we got in the playoffs and the magical stuff Marco was doing, and you know, those things were just, you know, unheard of. But really early in the year were some of those moments where I really felt like we had a chance.
I still remember the Altoff game, because Quincy High School had a playoff game at home the same day. And so I head out to Flint Stadium, and Steve Einiger was here for Muddy River Sports, and I get out to Flint Stadium, and you had a 2 o'clock kickoff that day. Quincy High was at 4. So I pick up my cell phone, flip on Jack Hole and the boys at Central Illinois Sports, and you're up big in the first quarter. I'm like, it just started.
And you're thinking the score's wrong. They got the score wrong.
No. And so then I'm like texting people. I'm like, is this right? And it was just amazing, because I think that was the moment everyone else outside of Adams County went, this team's for real.
Yeah, we had so that was right around parent-teacher conference times, or maybe it was after that week. And one of our senior dads came in for parent-teacher conferences, and he says, man, I don't know what you're giving these boys. He said, but my son came home last week. This was the week of Altoff, and the dad was kind of like, you know what, you do the best you can. It's been a great season either way. And he just said, Dad, we're going to beat these guys. And that was just, I don't say that was anything, you know, we focused on the things that we do well against them and how we were going to attack them. Our players probably had more confidence than we did, to be honest with you, right?
I remember that.
They had that mentality that whole week. And so, you know, it was, the game started, and, you know, and I always joke, everyone kind of thinks we got lucky. Well, you know, we blocked the first punt, then we stripped the second handoff, you know, or the second kickoff, but that was after about a 16-play drive. Like, people forget that we went 80 yards, you know,
just
on that next drive.
Down the field.
And then, you know, we get the other onside kick, which was executed, and you know, then we stopped them multiple times, including right before half. And, you know, it was almost a 40-point game. Yeah, we had some things, but we made them happen. Darren Rick ran down the field and punched the ball out on the kickoff. And it was a lot of great plays. And that was my message after that game, is everyone's going to think that we got so lucky, but they went out and made those breaks happen. And yeah, did Altoff overlook us? Probably. You know, and rightfully so. They had played much bigger schools. They were coming to some place they'd never been. And but our guys, they weren't scared at all. And obviously when that happened, and then, you know, then you're looking at Greenfield, and you're like, they want revenge, because we came back and beat them last year.
Right.
And they were lights out all postseason. The quarterback's healthy again. And then to score in 18 plays to start the game. Drew gets the pick 6. We get the onside. It was like, and I love Coach Pembroke, and you could just, you know, he's over there, and I watched the film afterwards, and he didn't even know how to respond. And I think they ran plays 2 and 3. Or let's see. They ran plays like 22 and 23, and then they didn't run another offensive play till they played 45. And it was, by that point, it was 32-0.
It was over.
And it was, so yeah, then Lena was, I think, a little scared, because it felt like, you know, everything was going in our favor, and our guys weren't scared of them.
No, not at all.
It was fortunate that most of the guys on that team played in the 22 game. Obviously, we had our film from the year before and all the things that we did wrong that we emphasized on correcting. And I mean, maybe the best defensive performance of all time to hold a team like that to
incredible.
150 yards, and we did just enough offensively. Yeah.
You know.
Wow.
Do you remember when that game ended? Or does it become a blur?
I remember because I hugged my dad.
Yeah.
Kind of chokes me up now, but
Yeah.
Coach Long is such a great guy that he got my dad on the field on the sideline.
Oh,
You know,
so
my dad's been to, almost every game I've ever
Right.
played and coached, which is, living 2 hours away. And I remember at one point with a minute and a half to go, is he's over there. You can see the tears are starting. He's pacing, but just to have that embracing, we luckily got a great picture of it. But
Yeah.
I remember that moment
Yep.
because it was, something we obviously worked hard for, and to share that with him on the sidelines, and then obviously to hug my own family and,
Yep.
and the coaches and the players just want, because you sell this stuff to them all the time, guys. We do all these things, we'll have a chance to win one. Well, then when you go and get beat bad in 18, you go and you're really never in the game in 22, you're like, okay, man, are we lying to these kids, or what else can we be doing? And then to see it actually play out and to win that game, obviously, kind of solidified the things that we're doing all right. And obviously we're always trying to tweak and get better, but it was nice to finally see it happen.
It was an incredible run. It was so much fun. Thank you for letting me be a part of it and be there and talk to your guys and you. And we did several Schuck on a trucks during that time.
We did. I remember I kept holding the trophy on the one at the very end.
Yep, and the guys wanted to do that. That was the cool thing for me.
Yeah.
I throw this idea out there to you guys when we do these things.
Mm-hmm.
But like after that championship game, after you did all the celebrating with the families and stuff, the guys wanted to get on the back of the truck and do that.
Yeah, it was such a connected group, and a group that had played together and grown up together, so it was so much fun to do it with them. We were very undersized. We didn't start anyone over 205. It's probably the smallest team we've had, but by far the fastest team.
No doubt.
And, just to have a lot, Connor Griffin just selling out to be in the blocking back. Jack being an unbelievable asset.
Yep.
Darren Rigg being one of our fastest guys on the team playing right tackle.
Right.
Drew being maybe the shiftiest guy. Elijah, running for almost 200 yards a game every postseason game.
Yep.
Nick just executing, and then, it was just all this kind of crazy
Everything
stuff.
fit together.
It
was
really
the perfect
did,
puzzle.
and so, it was fun, and every game you felt like you were going to go in and do what you needed to do, and they did it. And like I said, some games you're like, guys, we can't play down to our opponent just because their record's this. Those guys didn't, and I think that's a good lesson that we've used for our teams moving forward. And obviously that spilled into last year where we didn't return that many guys.
Right.
Obviously some good ones in Elijah and Nate, but we had to find 18 new starters last year, so.
And you got to find a few more.
We got to find a few more this year, but obviously they've seen it done. They know, and we've got a plan, and you do the best you can. You put guys, injuries happen, things happen. Sometimes the scoreboard doesn't work out in your favor, but at the end of the day, we try to do the best we can. And some years it works out, and some it doesn't. But we always try the best we can.
Awesome. Thanks for reminiscing with me.
Thanks, buddy.
Awesome.
Glad to have you back out here doing these.
It's fantastic to be back. I can't wait for football season to start. And
we'll get you in that end zone over there.
Amen. I'll be here. Sounds good. For Brad Dixon, I'm Matt Schuckman. This has been an Adams County Bicentennial celebration episode of Schuck on a Truck, brought to you by Shottenkirk Toyota.
Muddy River Sports. Our home, our sports.